yesterday we saw provisioned one server yesterday. Now, since yesterday I have restarted the system and the IP address have changed. Okay, remember yesterday if we put this in here, we should be able to see this here. But yesterday, the address we had here was something else. What was the IP address yesterday? With 10, right?
Yeah, the IP started was 10.
So the IP address yesterday was starting with 10, 100, 100.25.134.123. If we go there, it's not going to work because the IP address has changed. What happen in this situation, it will break the system and then users are not able to connect. So what you need to do is you have to go down here and say it's like elastic. And what is elastic IP?
Sounds like a static IP.
What did you say?
Sorry, I said it sounds like a static IP.
Static IP. So we all know it's a static IP, but Amazon is renaming it as a elastic IP. So what Amazon is doing is they're giving about five free IPs for a free network here. And, you could use like Amazon pool. That means they will randomly generate and give you 5 IP addresses. Okay, and let's do allocate. Created this IP address 18.103.34. So do is you could select that IP and then assign it to the machine here. Okay, so let's see. Back up into here. Now this machine right now, IP address is 18.234.3.204, right? So let me restart the machine here and see if it's going to stay the same. Okay, so we have to put in the current IP address. What I'm going to do is I'm going to restart the system. To be root, and I'm going to restart the system. What we're going to see is we're going to check to see if this IP is going to change. See if the IP has changed. IP has not changed. You know why? Because we just did a restart in just a moment here. So let me do a shutdown and see what happens. IP address is gone, so let me restart it back again. So what happened now is, let me refresh it. Now you could see the IP address is totally different now because you're using this IP from the pool here. Okay, now for you to avoid that, this thing is really important because the big businesses, they can't afford to lose our IP address. So what you have to do is you have to go into Elastic IP, select the IP address, and then you could name it Red Hat. Okay, and then you go into actions and select associate address, and then you're going to select instant, and then you're going to select the one that says Red Hat, and then you just leave that alone. If you want, you could check that, but just say it associate. All right, so let's go up here in instances and see IP. The new IP address has been assigned here. 18.215.103.24. Now it's not going to change. Okay, so it's going to lose here because it's a new IP address. So it's working. What I'm going to do is I'm going to restart the system again. Restart and see what happens. what you have to do is you have to okay, so these are randomly generated IPs, and then you could actually have it allocate here. And then you could close it so that you have one more IP available. So right now, you could go up in here in our instance, it's stop, right? So when I'm going to start it, it should lose the IP. But since we allocated the IP address, it's already has that IP, so it will not change when the system reboots. So let me go back and start it. Okay, so the IP is working here. So let me go up in here, copy and paste it here. That means the web page is coming up. Okay, now they're giving you the free IP address, right? This is what will happen here. If they detect you have this IP address assigned to them, it's not being used, okay? If the system is in shutdown state and then IP address is assigned to it being used, that means one IP address is being wasted. So what Amazon will do it if you just have the IP address assigned and it's not being used, then it will start charging you. So if the IP is not being used from 5 free IPs, okay, so you got to be careful in in all these scenarios here. This is where you have to read the documentation. Any questions so far? Anybody create the account yesterday?
Yes, I already had account, but I wasn't aware of the if IP is not in use, they will start charging.
Oh, so you create. There was a lot of static, but I heard you created an account, right?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Next thing I'm going to show you is how to create an image. So what image you could do is create. You could create an image. What image in the sense means is a pre-configured system here. So you're getting a lot of pre-configured system. So what you could do is you could install some operating system and also install a bunch of software on it and make it a master copy. Once you make it a master copy, what you could do is you could use that to clone the other machines. So I'll show you what I mean. What I'm going to do here is we have this machine, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect and connect and I'm going to log in and then I'm going to say install some software on it, okay? Okay, so the HTTPD is already installed. So what I'm going to do is
How about FTP? Yes.
look here. DNS scripts. FTP install, right?
I don't know. Can you run FTP and a web server together? Same instance?
I'm sorry, what was that?
I'm saying I don't know, Zafar bhai, can you install FTP and a web server?
I mean, it's just the operating system that we've been working on. You could install everything. I want to see if I could install lamps. All right, give me one moment here. I need to make a call. Sorry about that. Can you hear me?
You can.
So I want to install some application. install a program. Let's download and install. Anyway, here's what I'm going to do is do ls here, and then I'm going to do mkdir folder, and I'm going to do cd folder ls touch f. Okay, and then also I'm gonna let's install labs here. Okay, that one is already there. So then I'm gonna go do this. Reload. Now open up the firewall. It's not here.
I think yesterday we installed the Red Hat 8.
Yeah. Some CTL. I have no idea how the Red Hat 8 is working. So, but anyway, you get the idea, right? So what I'm trying to do is we have this coming up here, and HTTPD is there. Yum search PHP. You cannot connect to local. That's enough here. So what I'm going to do is when I'm going to create the image is going to keep all the configuration that a machine would have. So what you could do is have this marketplace. You could go out and look for that, and then what you could do is you could create one. You could go to action and then register new AMI, and name maybe not this, and select an action, an image, and click create image. Here you could give the name here master image, and you could just give the date here, and then if you want, you could also have the EBS in there. So if we select here, and if we do df-h, df-h, we have this EBS, electronic block store, elastic block storage. What this is nothing but the secondary hard drive in there. So no reboot. Okay. This is it. All you have to do is click create image, click close. Do is it's, and then it will keep in here into the I. What does AMI stand? Amazon Machine Image. Okay, so let's see here. We have a master image here that is ready. Now, what you could do is next time, if you want to create a machine, you don't have to go through the trouble of launch. And then is gonna use this eligible instance detail. It's going to still ask you for all the how much CPU you need and all that. Okay, that is understandable. And then the subnet is we're gonna leave this in default US East E. VPC, we're gonna leave it default. Capacity, reservation, IAM, all this is good. You could see now it has automatically configured this. This is master image. And then click next tag if you want to add tag. Just name it cloned. Okay, so it's Red Hat cloned. Configure security group. So here you could use the existing one. Security group, review, and launch. I'm using the master copy information, launching the AMI. Yeah, I'm launching the instant using the AMI. I use the existing one. So I already have it. Launch. Instances. So this time is going to spin up. All right, so let's take a look here, instances. This one is still initializing. What I could do is I have the elastic IP, so I could assign it a IP again. So I select this, allocate new. No, not new. I say static action and then associate address instance, and it's going to start showing up the third option here. Okay, you could select that and then you could associate this. See how easily we are just doing all these things on the fly here. If it was for a real world scenario, all this process would take a lot of time. Not like hour, 2 hours, it would take weeks to get the IP address. It will take weeks for you to spin up this, install software, and all this is going to take a lot of time here. Now that we should be able to go to the web browser. And then let me try connecting it using the SSH and see if it's going to work. See how instantly all the information has been updated. The moment I allocated the IP address, you don't have to go through loops and holes to make the changes wherever these changes need to be. You don't need to do all that. This is one box and connection closed. So I'm going to open up another session. Okay, so I'm gonna continue using the same. Okay, so I go in here, I copy this. I have this here and this here. Yes. Okay, here it's giving you, here, I don't know why it gave you me this. So all you have to do is EC2 user. C2 hyphen user. So look at this here. This one is a different IP and they both have the same information here. So when I do DFFNH, all my configuration is there. And then I think I created a folder, right? So let me go into the CD folder and I should do ls. I have 100 files there. So you could understand, I created like an image of a replica or a clone of the original system, like nothing. So if you want, you could create 1, 2, 3, 4, or you could create up to 100 or 1,000 of IPs. I'm sorry, not IPs, but the instances using the AMIs. In here, you go launch, and then you select this. Here, you could put down 10. Put down 10 here and see what happens. Add tag. Launch and review. Go in here into the instances. It will start creating 10 machines for me. Okay, this wouldn't have been possible if you had a physical data center. Like your data center now. See why Amazon is dominating in a cloud space. Everybody else is there, they are doing the same thing, but Amazon is way, way on top. Any questions? What I'm going to do is I'm going to start deleting this because I'm going to start getting charged for this. So let me start deleting this. Let me leave one alone. Right. Okay, all right. So what I just found out is if you delete the instances, but if you had those volumes in there, keep it. Unless you make a check that says when you delete it, delete the volume. So this is gonna, so what you're gonna do is you go in here and delete them. So available. Use alphanumeric number here. This is only a Amazon related number here. This cannot be, this number is in, this number is only unique. It won't have terminated state. I have my original three running. Maybe I don't want this. The pricing. Instances on demand, dedicated host, and billing. Okay, so what else you could do is you could see EBS in here and EBS. Create a bucket. I thought I saw EBS. Can somebody see ABS in here? Anyway, so let's move on. Okay, let's see. Next thing I'm gonna do is okay. Give me 1 second here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna kind of work on this like a project thing, and so I have this hand drawn here. So what we're gonna do is create a we're gonna create a infrastructure here. What we're gonna do is we're gonna create a virtual VPC, virtual private cloud. So this is the boundary inside the AWS. Then we're gonna create two availability zones. Okay, so this is gonna be zone 1 and zone 2. That means these are going to be two data centers. Okay, and then in that I'm going to create a security group that's called Bastion host, and then I'm going to create a subnet. So I'm going to create two subnets here. Total three, 1, 2, 3 subnets. Here I'm going to create a EC2s here. And then what will happen is the web traffic from outside will come here and connect to the Bastion host. The host is a jump box. From there, what will happen is it will connect to the. So let's work on this. Close this. And close this. Instances. All these are terminated. I want to go to that place that was.
I think Zafar is right there on your left. It says Elastic Block Store at your left, on the bottom, right there, right in the middle. It says Elastic Block Store.
It's grayed out. It's basically subtopic, Elastic Block Store, then volumes and snapshots.
Oh, yeah. Okay. This is what I was looking for. Okay, good. We have 4 in use. If you click on this is actually a real ID, okay? Take you there. So we have one is running here. So we'll leave that alone. This one is also running. We'll leave that alone. Okay, so I think these two attached, right? We need to worry about only 3 here. This. This will go away after a couple of days. So let me go into volumes here. Leave that alone for here, but these are SDA, B, AB. Okay, it makes sense here. So we have 4. A is 1, SDA, B, SDA, and B. All right, so I'm going to leave those alone here. What I'm going to do is these ones are not being used, so I'm going to delete this. So with AWS, it comes with some responsibility. You could just go in there and start spinning things up. But if you don't understand the pricing structure, and in many sense, this pricing structure is very, very complex. Have to, okay, whatever. But with AWS, you have to read a lot of documentation is needed, or a lot of reading is needed. Okay, so let's go ahead and work on this project here. I have a VPC. So let's create a VPC. VPC. VPC is nothing but a virtual private cloud. VPC is so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to the services here, and then I'm going to type VPC. Oh, VPC. There you go. The definition of VPC. I'm going to put it in here. Okay. So you go into VPC. Okay, from there you just click on VPCs. There is a default one. This is by default there is one created here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a new one. We're gonna give them ZMPT VPC. Okay. -ZMPT. It's asking for the block here, the CIDR block. So before that, let's go ahead and look at this VPC. We have to look for the CIDR block here. One CIDR block. Okay, let's see. This is called classless interdomain routing system. It doesn't have any class. So, this is more heavily focused towards networking, but tell you much about what is class and classless. But you have to know a little bit more about networking. But for our course, we don't have to worry about too much. So I'm going to put this in the same class. And then I'm going to put, and then I'm going to go VPC, ZMPT, okay? And then it says tenancy. I'm going to just leave it default. We don't need an IPv6 cyber block here, okay? So let's go ahead and I'm going to take a screenshot of this. So the VPC is created here. So this is its own virtual private cloud. You could have multiple in here, and then you will never be able to cross in each other's. So this is necessary when you kind of want to have like two different sections. If you have a big corporation and then you want to have like one for accounting, one for information technology and things like that, you could use this as a security group. Okay, so our VPC is created here. The VPC we wanted is all there. Okay, so next thing we want to do is we want to create a availability zone. So we're going to create a zone 1 and zone 2. Okay, so again, you have to go up in here and yeah, zones. Okay, so if you can't find it, then you put it in Google. Regions and ability zones. You know what? I think I'm misreading here. So what you have to do is you have to create a subnet, public subnet here. And security group. Try to create a security group. Security group. Okay, so we are in here on the networking side here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click a security group. Already have a couple defaults here, but what I'm going to do is for the project, I'm going to create security group. I'm going to name this as okay, what is the security group? Bastion security group. And then I'm going to associate this VPC, virtual private cloud. Now it will show up the one we have created earlier. ZMPT virtual private cloud here. And also look at this here. All these things, anything and everything, no matter what you name it, in the background, Amazon is keeping track using this very long alphanumeric number here. Either you could use this number or you could use the name here. Number, it could be only one in the entire Amazon AWS. And then we could add the rules later, but I'm gonna go ahead and create one. Maybe I'll add a rule here. Since this is a Bastion host, the traffic is gonna come from anywhere. Traffic. I'm gonna say anywhere in the world, and then it's gonna go out. All the ports are open in here. All right. An error occurred on one or more of the field is invalid. Okay, so I have to give the security group name. Okay, so one security group is created. Now what I'm going to do is I need to create two more. So let me see here if I need to. I'm going to create another EC2 security group. Create security group. I'm going to name it EC2. It's going to select the default ZFPT1. Add rule. We're going to allow the traffic. Allow it from my IP. And no. And then this is where I'm going to put that CIDR block in here. So the one I copied earlier. Cancel that and go to VPC. VPC. I said, what is security group? Did anybody remember that?
Security group is more like a firewall, you said, right?
Yep. Firewall. What I'm going to do is, what is the name? EC2 SG. EC2 security group. ZMPT. Okay, and EC2SG. And then you got to be careful. It says that taking it as a default, you have to change it to ZMPT1. Okay, and then I'll click create. So you have this here, but you could definitely go around and make changes here. The one we just created here, this one, to make changes, you could definitely do that here. This is coming from outside. This one here, inbound rule. We're gonna have to go back in there and take a second look here, because right now I'm just creating on the fly. So we have the security groups here too, and the next thing we're gonna do is create a subnet. So I have to create a public subnet. I have to create two public subnet. Okay, public. So you go down in here again, security group nets. Launch subnets in here. There are already some defined in there, but we're going to create new one. So I'm going to create new subnet. Name it as subnet bastion. Subnet bastion. Now is going to ask you which VPC you want to associate this with. This is where you're going to see here. Now I'm going to pause here. You guys are following it, right? This is kind of entangled here. So it's asking VPC here. So one thing is dependent on another thing. Any questions? So now what I have is, this is going to be in a availability zone, and then I'm going to select the very first one. These are data centers. These are data centers in our Northern Virginia area. Okay, if you select Ohio, don't do that. I mean, you try to stay in Northern Virginia as of now. Select US East 1A. So okay, these are going to be availability zones in two zones. So US East 1A. Block. All looks good to me. Now I'm going to create another subnet, and then let's look at the document. It says subnet. I'm going to name it a NAT gateway. This is going to be associated with the VPC. What is VPC? This is a big boundary of this virtual private cloud. This is the big boundary we have. Everything is going inside it. This is the CIDR. Now this time I'm going to select availability zone 1B. Okay, so this is going to be a failover. the block, cider block. And all cider block overlaps. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change it to 24. So I'm going to paste this back here, and then I'm going to change this here. 172 to 131 dot 16. A valid cider block. That represents IP ranges 24. Net mask. The block size must be between 16 and 128. It can be the same size of VPC. Cancel this here. What I'm going to do is creating problem here. So I'm going to leave the same. I'm going to put it in the same data center, okay? East 1A. And I'm going to put it here. And then VPC is going to be same. And what it is NAT, NAT, public, ZMPT. Okay, and all looks good to me. Let me just save it. So let's try 32. It's not working. So what we could do is we could take a look at the other ones here. So 172.31.0.16. By 20. Sixty-eight 0.16 24. Man. 132. 20. Site address is not within. PC machine. Okay, so this is more of the networking part here. So this part managed by network admins. They're the one who work on this and deciding how all these things gonna work. But let me see. Let's do this. Create an ad gateway. Not now. So we are hitting a roadblock here. So I think the time is up too. What I'll do is I will research more with this for next class, and then I will have this ready. Any questions?
No, Zafar bhai. Inshallah.
If no questions, then I'll end it, and then I'll find more about this ready for next class.
Inshallah. Allah Hafiz.
All right, Allah Hafiz.
Okay, love it.